Hey people, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing fine. It's Standpoint again, and it's your girl Edna. And for today, we have a hot topic as usual, but before we get there, I just want to introduce to you guys our very special guests. Yeah, but before that, I'm with Patrick, my co-host. Hey Pete,
Hey.
how are you doing? Are you ready for today's topic?
I don't know. Let's wait.
Are you sure you're ready for today's topic?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know guys, you're still wondering what topic is that. Anyway, I'm coming. Don't worry. I'm with a guest here, Judy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Just say hi to our viewers there.
Hello, how are you? My name is Judy, as she introduced me, Judy Common. Yes.
We're happy to have you here.
Glad to be
Welcome again to the Standpoint.
here. Thank you.
Yeah, so guys, as I was saying it for today's topic, sisters gather here. We are going to talk about period shame. Yes, that time of the month. And all the social stigma that comes with it. Okay? Yes, so Judy, before we start, what do you think about the period shame? When the girl is on her period and the shame that she feels, or how the society treats her. What do you think about that?
First and foremost, I think period shaming is not just African, it's all over the world, it's global. It's something that is a social stigma that surrounds having periods or menstruation, and girls generally feel isolated, they feel ashamed by their peers, by the community. You would find sometimes that a girl goes to school but is so afraid even to sit down because she's afraid she might have a leakage, and if she has a leakage,
oh my god, that's the end of
embarrassing.
the world.
It's like the end of the world,
Yeah,
because
true.
the boys will laugh at her. It will be a topic to talk about.
Yeah,
Did
true.
you see the blood? Did you see that girl? So I think we need to end the stigma, because this is a very natural thing.
I know, right? This is so normal. I mean, if a girl wasn't passing through that time of the month, she will be having some issues with her body, right? So I never get the idea behind the stigma and everything. Like, why? Yet it's something so normal. It has to happen. That means you are a woman and you are very fine.
I think it starts with our communities. It starts with us. It starts with me and you, and for us to talk about it. It's just something that's been in our cultures, in our African culture especially, for a very long time, that it is such a taboo topic to talk about, that your father will not even want to see your sanitary towels around, or your mother, or we've talked about even situations where a girl fears to go to the shop to buy, especially if it is a man.
That's me here. Like, I used to
Especially
fear.
Especially if it is a man selling.
I know. Or if there are men around. If there are men around.
Or if there are men around the shop. But
Wow.
why the fear and why the social stigma?
I think it
is-
starts like in our home.
It starts at home, and it's something that we need to talk about. And if men could also be brave enough, and like Patrick coming to the
In this show to talk
the
about
show
that.
to talk about
it's
it.
because I insisted. I know he wouldn't have come. I'm sure he wouldn't have come.
it's something that we need to talk about so often that it becomes normal, that this is not something to be ashamed about. It's a natural process. And even men would not be here if the women didn't have periods, by the way.
Exactly. My goodness. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, so today we have a man here. Yeah, Patrick is here because we want to know. We want to find out the opinions on the men's side. So I just want you to tell us what you think about that.
As Judy has already said it, it's as if she tackled almost every single idea pertaining to the topic. Because as she said it, women are very ashamed when it comes to that period. And when there are even so many expressions talking about it, can say, she's on her racks, she's like, and Shark Week, you see, different, like euphemisms to express that, women is not as she used to be. But I think, as she said, that's very normal. That's biological, and that's, natural. And she talked about something very crucial, like if, the periods was not there, we would not even be here today.
You wouldn't be here with me today.
Yeah,
There were no
absolutely,
periods.
absolutely. So in my understanding, I think it's really normal. It's natural.
It's really normal.
Yes, natural. Of course, when you told me about the topic, I made some researches and I saw that so many women around the world are facing discrimination because of that. Even in Burundi, they used to be so isolated because as a woman, you were considered as unclear,
Yeah, just
as unclean.
But I think that's because of that time there were not those sanitary towels. So maybe what they were using wasn't that clean, and maybe at the smell and everything. That's why maybe they couldn't go in a public place or where people can see them.
Let's assume it that way, but we don't know, because I do believe that Burundians, from long ago, they were very intelligent. They were even able to manufacture some devices that were helping them in their lives. So I don't know about it, but yes, of course, you're saying, let's assume, yeah, it might be that, because like when you are in the periods and you don't have clean materials like some sanitary, feminine hygiene kits that are really okay. Sometimes you can,
Appropriate for that.
yeah, of course, you don't have, appropriate kits for that. You can be having maybe bad smells or, it's blood. So you find even like there's some societies or some parents that when they see a lady, coming on her periods, they say, now she's ready to get married. She can even do her early marriages, you see? Which means sometimes, we have to find ways out. So as, this
we
taboo
must find
has to,
ways to educate people about it, and they should actually learn that that's something normal and it's so simple.
yeah, it's so simple. It's a sign of maturity.
Yeah, it's a sign of maturity and a sign that you are a woman and your body is actually is in good condition, right? So I can see that Judy brought something today here, and I think it explains more about what you're talking about, right?
Yes. As you all know, we can't just talk about periods and period shaming without tackling the point of, so if a woman has a period, how does she dispose the sanitaries? How does she throw it away after changing? She will change sometimes 2 times a day, 3 times a day, even 4 times.
Yeah, depending on how she's...
Depending on how heavy her period
Yeah, her
is.
period are.
So where does she put this? Because
I think
in
that's another
Burundi,
issue that we're having
in Burundi
right
we
now.
lack this so much, and it's something that is so vital. You cannot be working from 8 to 5:30 in the evening, and you just don't have the correct place to throw your sanitaries. I can imagine you're working in a bank.
Imagine.
You rarely get to leave. Maybe at lunchtime you will leave, but maybe you will get a small break. You might not even be able to go home to change. I've had women saying that they have to drive home, or maybe they have to find a way to go home.
Or
So
maybe
that-
they just have to keep in their handbags.
So they have to put it in their handbags most of the time, because there are places, let's say you live very far away from home and you work where you work, you live very far from your workplace. So it means that you can't even go home to change.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way. You have to manage the situation whichever way that you can. And number 1, women will put it in their handbags. Number 2, some will be desperate and throw it inside the toilet, and it will block the toilet.
Yes.
This happens so many times. Some women will tell you something very ridiculous, like they have to wash their sanitaries. I'm just wondering.
Are they reusable or?
It doesn't mean it
No.
does. Sometimes they don't even have to be
Yeah,
reusable. They
yes,
wash it.
they just
and
have
it,
to
and
wash
we
it.
have to discuss some of these issues. Like, honestly, you can't wash plastic. You can't wash that thing. It is just disgusting. Where are you even washing it? We also have taboo topics that they will say, oh, there is people who can use it for fetish, or they can take the sanitaries.
I think that's the reason why maybe some of us were told that we have to
you have to wash
it before throwing out.
And for me, it doesn't really make sense how, for example, an office, if I work in the office, why shouldn't I have something that I can throw like this one, where I can throw my sanitary towels and be comfortable, and who will come and pick mine? Who will know this belongs to Judy, or this belongs to this lady that I want to maybe do something bad to her? So I think it's a topic that we need to discuss. So this is my sanitary towel that is used. I must cover it with a tissue paper. Okay, then I have to throw it inside the bin. I just need to step on it and throw it, and that's it. It's gone. If another person comes after me, they will not see.
Yeah, you won't even see anything.
You will not see anything. It is not visible. It's supposed to be discreet.
Yeah.
So if we don't introduce such things, then we'll have lots of issues, even infections.
Yeah,
true.
That's
Because sometimes someone will have to sit with what they have, and they're fearing. Because also when you stay so much with a pad for a long time, it's very easy to get an infection. You need to change as often as possible.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
a quick question here. She has been like saying that some of you guys, you know, you have heavy periods. So is it the same for every
No, it's not the
woman,
same.
It's not the
or
same.
is
Some
not the
women
same.
even have their periods for 3 days. Some have for 7 days. Some
But I
have-
think that's
But-
something that isn't normal when you have your periods for 7 days. Because I've read on Google that the
Minimum?
maximum time for that is 3 to 5 days. If it goes beyond that you have to go and see a gynecologist, because you must have an issue. So I don't know if it's true, but normally it's between 3 and 5 days.
Yeah.
So I also want to know if, you know, it was like this month, is it gonna happen the same way next month? Is it gonna be heavy, or
Some women have regular
others
periods,
are
some
irregular.
have very irregular. So sometimes there are women who even wait till a long period for it to come back, and some have a different cycle of periods. So it's very different from woman to woman.
yeah,
I've heard of women who, even when they give birth, they can take 6 months to 1 year before they come back to normal, to having their periods.
Oh.
and
So-
what about the flow of the blood?
The flow
depends on
depends. Depends, and also they say so many things can make the periods become heavy or light, or depending what you're eating, depending the environment. There are times people, if you move to a different country, it becomes so different because it's hormonal.
Yeah, it's hormonal.
So-
So I think what we were saying actually before, the fact that we don't have those kind of bins in so many offices don't have those kind of bins. That is one of the things that make women feel so uncomfortable and feel so ashamed of it, right?
Yes.
So I think that should be something that is put everywhere in all the offices to make women feel comfortable. I can go and change because I have somewhere to put it.
Yes.
I won't put it in my handbag. I won't have to keep the same pad till 5, yet
Yes.
I've worn it
Yes.
8 in the morning,
Yes.
and then cause those kind of infections.
Yes.
And now we don't have them right here, so how are you dealing with it? I mean, when
Sorry?
it happens now.
So basically, because of my passion for women, we have this here in Burundi, and we give this to different offices. We do have this in different banks. We have in KCB, CRDB Bank, Finbank, Kazoza Finance. We have in Sakode. We have in Kobil, which is now Rubis. They changed their name. And so many other offices I can't remember at the moment. So some of those offices, they have observed the difficulty that women go through. and they have seen it's a need. And sometimes women will give an excuse, I need to go somewhere. It's just because it's that time of the month and she needs to change, and there's no proper place.
Yeah.
So it wastes time. We also have to look at it as a time wasting thing. And some banks have even decided to have sanitary towels inside the toilet of women, so that if a woman has an emergency, she can just go and pick. And it helps a lot. And I think such decision makers like in CRDB Bank, they thought it's really important for a woman to have this, just in case.
Yeah, just in
she has
case.
an emergency, and it's always an emergency, by the way.
Yeah,
the
it's
periods
always-
will never tell you I'm coming tomorrow.
But you can feel it few days before.
Some women
Yeah,
can
some
feel
women do,
some,
but others don't.
sometimes you can just get shocked and you're like,
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God,
true.
I need. Maybe you're having a meeting, or I need to go to the supermarket, or maybe I need to send someone. You can
And you
imagine.
can't, you
I
can't
thought-
even say it. Like people will ask you like for what? And
Yes.
you are in the middle of a meeting and
Yes.
everything. Like no, I'm just
I
coming.
thought you always
So-
keep them in your hand. I mean, your
Not
hand.
No,
necessarily.
not necessarily.
You
We can't. We
should.
can't keep them in
Not
our
some,
handbags.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we should, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes you just don't remember to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes it becomes a problem, and that's why some organizations just believe it's good to have it as an emergency. That if a woman has her period, she just goes and picks, and she comes back to work, and she has the right place to throw. And even if she needs to change, there's still another one to change. Yes.
Yeah, Patrick, I have a question for
Yeah.
you. Suppose that your girlfriend is having her periods and she asks you to go and buy for her pads. How will you do it? And I want you if you will do it.
Not only one question.
No,
then
I
they're
have
becoming
two questions because
It's
I'm sure
okay.
you've heard guys saying that I can't. I will do whatever you want.
why-
Please don't ask me to go buy for you pads.
Okay, come
Why? Will you do it?
I'm all ears. Yeah, of course.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So why some men can't do it? Like
I don't know about
what's
others,
what's
but
the reason
personally, you know, out of love, I'll have to do whatever she asks me. I mean, what is right, because I know it's not her fault to be on her period, so I know it's not anything bad. So I will have to help her, and I go and buy. I go to the store and I try to look for what she, you know.
Without any shame, without feeling ashamed of that and everything. That's great. At
That's
least
good. That's commendable. Very few men can do that.
Yeah.
African men, for that
African
matter.
men can do that.
Yeah.
I know, and I do believe herself will be like scared, you know, to ask me to do it, because she knows how many men in Africa react or behave. Then herself told, you know, herself, she said she cannot really ask me to do, you know, such a favor. But I do believe if ever maybe she's sick, or maybe she's not able to go herself to the store and buy it, I will do it. I will definitely do it without
Yeah, and
any problem.
maybe if it's the first day, because first days are usually hard, because you feel pain. Most of the girls feel pain and everything. So that's why actually you need to help her. So Judy, do you remember your first time? I mean, the first time you got your period,
Yeah, I do.
how it was and everything. Were you told before? Or-
Yeah. Maybe I come from a culture that we were told.
Oh, you are from Kenya, true.
I'm from Kenya, so. But surprisingly, it wasn't my mom, which is very interesting. I don't know what's wrong with our mothers, because at school they used to have a program where they come and talk to girls from a certain age to a certain age, and they would show us this is what you do, and they would teach us when you have pain you can put warm water on your tummy and you will feel better. So I had an idea of what to do, but surprisingly it wasn't from my mom, which is as we said, African mothers are very they find it such a taboo topic to approach their daughter and just explain it. But I learned it from school, and I think in the curriculum now, even in Kenya, it's in the curriculum to teach girls about it, and it helps.
Yeah.
I don't know which subject, I can't remember. Maybe it's social education, social ethics, something like that, that teaches girls how to use sanitaries and what to expect, and it just prepares them in advance when they're still young. And maybe it's something that other countries, other African countries should introduce so that it is taught in school and there's no shame and there's no stigma and the girls know about it. And when it is being taught, by the way, I don't think the boys should be separated. Oh, go to another class. We are teaching girls only.
Yeah,
No.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember those kind
So
of
do they
teachings in
separate
high
them?
school.
Most of the time they would separate.
Yeah, I remember.
So-
even us, they used to separate us.
Yes, I still
totally.
don't think it ends the shame if the boys are not included. They should be included. There's no shame. There's no shame in a boy learning that this is a natural process. When they know it from a young age, they will embrace it as a natural process. But if they are told, oh no, you don't need to know this. Why?
I think that's where the shame starts actually,
Yes.
because they should learn that
Age.
together at the same age,
Yes.
so that they know if maybe my sister is on her periods,
Yes.
I know how to help her.
Yes.
I know what she needs and everything.
Yes.
Because now it's that girl or the sister that if maybe the mother isn't around and she doesn't have anyone to
Yes.
go and tell to, she'll come to the brother, and then the brother will start telling, like, what are you telling me? What's that? She'll start now feeling ashamed to explain what it is and everything.
Yes.
So I think that's the reason why those things should be taught together, like boys and girls
Yes.
in high schools.
Yes, I think if we made it something that's not a secret, it's not something that's silent, it's something that's open, then we end the social stigma and we make it look like it's a normal thing. And it is a normal thing for sure. It's very interesting how even if you forgot maybe your pad somewhere at home, you'll be like, oh, I don't want my brothers to see it, or I don't want my father to see it.
Yeah.
It's the stigma is so much that it needs to stop, because there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
It is such a normal process.
Patrick, I want you to tell us what you think about those guys when they have maybe their wives or girlfriends that are on their periods. They feel like, I don't want to see her during that period, like during that period of time. I want to let her be alone, maybe because, because of the hormones change, there are those mood swings. You get cravings, you're so moody and everything. So guys don't feel like bearing with the girl, and they're like, let me just let her because of it's her time. First of all, what do you think about those guys who have that kind of mentality, and what do you think should be done? Like the guys, what should they do?
All right. Look, it's their right, of course, to behave such a way, but I don't think they should, behave like that. Because I do believe, as we've been talking about it, as we've been saying it before, it's really normal. And if that state of life was not there, we
wouldn't be here.
wouldn't
all
be
of us
here. So I do believe what they have to tell themselves is that, they have sisters, they have mothers, and chances are the people they love menstruate. So if other person can go on menstruation, but you can go there, you have also some issues, you have also some problems, and I do believe we are all complementary. So for me, what I do believe is that we have to care so much. As you said, that state push women to change their mood. They are no longer the same. It's a period that requires much attention. You have to,
and affection,
of
and
course,
care
affection,
and everything.
because we are witnessing, like in the rural places most of the time, because they don't get the chance to access to those like pads or sanitary materials, then it's really hard for them, and you find they are using like some cut up rags or some, I don't know, they're trying to to hide. But at the end of the day, they are like suffering slowly, and they get some diseases, they get some infections, and then you find the family is passing through hard times because they didn't prevent themselves before. if the man was ready, was aware of that, he would have done something before.
Yeah.
He would like maybe like looked for, you know, some appropriate feminine kits so as her wife doesn't suffer that way. But if he doesn't like put much attention during that period, then the lady can be infected. If she's infected, the family is gonna lose, you know, in terms of finances, in terms of time, because she will get another disease which is far beyond, you know, like being on her. That's normal. That's biological. As we said, that's even a sign of maturity.
Yeah.
And sometimes I know, like for guys who are in relationships, when they have, you know, their lady, and when the other month enters and her loved one doesn't, you know, doesn't see her periods, then they start
freaking
They start freaking out.
Yeah, they start freaking out like,
you see,
"Woo,
yes, what's
what
wrong?
did we do?
What
What's
did
wrong?"
we do? You see,
Yeah.
Have we done something wrong? You see, then that's why
Of course, you've done something wrong.
Yeah, I know. That's why they should like take it simple.
Yeah, because in that
Yeah,
period
day
of
by
time,
day.
ladies
Yeah.
are like they want more attention, affection, care,
Yeah, of course.
and love, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so
Anyways,
fine.
before we end this show for today, Judy, a word for our sisters out there.
I think number one, we shouldn't fear having periods. We should not even fear talking about it. It's a very natural process, and let's also, as sisters and who are in decision-making positions, for example, our legislators, I just hope that they can think of how the laws around pads can be changed so that it can be accessible to the poor and to every girl in Burundi, so that it's affordable. We feel like sometimes it's just too expensive. How much does an average Burundian earn for them to be able to go and buy a pad of 2,800? Right now, even prices of everything is going up. I'm assuming it could be an average of 3,000, and it's very expensive. And if we don't make sure that this is accessible, we will have so many problems. Girls will drop out of school, they will have infections because they will have to use even materials that are not supposed to be used when they're having their periods. So yes, I also encourage fellow sisters who are decision makers to do something about it.
Especially by providing those kind of bins in offices.
Yes, I also think it's this is not a luxury. It is a need.
Yeah, it's a need, a basic need.
It's a very basic need.
But like how, like, yes, of course that's a need, but like that comes to the third stage, even like the second
stage. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, because you know we are experiencing a situation whereby like many women around the country, like in the remote places, they don't have access. They have little access to those materials. It's really hard for them to get like pads, and that's why we see like so many companies now. So many enterprises are being born in Burundi, and they are manufacturing some reusable feminine kits, and which is something that we should all encourage.
Yes.
Because like they're helping a lot of women.
Yes, so you guys, we want your comments on the comment section. What do you think? For our sisters, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. That's normal, that's so simple. And for our brothers, know how to treat them when they're in that period of time, because that shows she's a woman. That shows they're actually functioning very well.
Hey!
All right?
Hey.
Yeah, that's true,
Yeah,
right?
true.
It is. Judy, thank you for coming here today. You are a very special guest, and thank you. We are so thankful for the...
Glad to be here.
Yes. Patrick, thank you too.
Yeah, well, thank you. But the last word that I have to say is that we, as you all have been saying, we need to change from shame and silence to acceptance and education.
Yeah, and
that's my
starts.
last word.
So thank you guys for watching us. Stay tuned for the next show and don't forget to subscribe.